Hey, everybody out there, this is your boy, Brian Civic-Minded Lesyk. Oh, wait, no, I'm just Brian Lesyk, you know what? And you are watching a Planetary Diary, the making of a fan series.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of A Planetary Diary, the Making of a Fan series. I'm your host, Eric Moran, and today I'm proud to introduce to you one of our head writers for A Planetary Step, the one and only Brian Civic-Minded Lesyk. What's going on today, Brian?
How's it going, man? How you holding up?
I'm doing good, Brian. Thank you so much for asking. And, we're going to get ready to get the show started. And I want to start right off the bat. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your history in writing and working in film?
I actually am a paid writer by trade. It is what I do. I have a degree in mass communication, so journalism, theater, television production, and things like that. So that's my daily life. Is I do a lot of very boring writing, a lot of academic writing, writing for technical documents, things like that. So I really don't get to flex my creative muscle when it comes to my actual job, which I actually do love. But when it comes to my free time, when it comes to what I really want to do, what my passion is, it's more along the lines of script writing, which you and I have thankfully had a lot of experience doing together. We've written a lot of stuff together, created a lot of really great pieces together, lots of really great short films, things like that. So this for me really represents another step, just, in working with you and the Together Brothers Productions team, working with some other talented writers and a really great staff. So this is going to be really fun. I know it's something that I think we all feel really passionate about. So it's really going to be onward and upward. This is going to give me, like I said, a chance to really flex that creative muscle.
So what I want to know is for you, and we've worked on other projects, like you said, what has always been like your key element when it comes to writing and writing a good story, a good script to get the audience pulled in?
It's a great question. I think the one thing you have to do is really pay homage to the source material. When it's a fan film, when it's fan fiction, when it's something that is paying tribute to, an existing mythology, you really want to stay true to it. You don't want to do something that is going to be standoffish and something that's not palatable to the audience. You want something that's going to, build upon that franchise, something that builds on that mythos. So I think it's really about understanding characters. It's really about understanding the story. It's about understanding audience expectations. Maybe not always giving them something that they'll sit there and they'll say, well, that makes sense. This really does build on something that we've seen, something that's, the foundation for really great sci-fi. So thankfully, in this case, there's just so much we can do. The sky literally is the limit.
So with you and I, when we originally talked about working together, with you and Brian Terranova being the head writers, and you watching the Orville, what are you looking to achieve with our series as far as season 1 goes? Because I know you're going to be writing some of the episodes and all. What is it that pulls you in about the Orville, and what are you hoping, without giving anything away, to show the audience as far as like when it comes to the show?
Well, it's funny. You turned me on to the show anyway. Like, I had people telling me how great it was, how good it was, because I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, especially Next Generation. That's my favorite of that franchise. So it wasn't only until about maybe just a couple months ago that I started watching the Orville, and I just binged the whole thing. I have never seen such tight writing like that in modern day Star Trek-ish series like that. It's just so good. So for me, what I want to accomplish is building that universe. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane and his writing team, they've just done such a good job of spinning that writing so tight. It's so good. Like just what they've created and how they've paid homage to prior sci-fi franchises. It's so good. So that's what I want to do, is build upon that universe, build upon that tradition. I'm going to tell you, and this is my unscripted response from me to you as a friend. you inspire me to want to try new writing projects, because I think that you have a vision for it, and you have the guidance, and you have the patience that, you know, you see things and you can relay things where maybe a lot of us wouldn't originally see. But when you really put your ideas out, it's like, wow, it makes total sense. So a lot of different projects in the queue right now. It's all about finding time. It's all about getting past this whole COVID-19 thing. But yeah, man, we're never at a shortage of ideas. And, you know, again, I think that's a feather in your cap.
So for you, I mean, we worked on another project, Star Trek project called Trek Isolation. We had Stan Lee. You basically wrote, you know, part of the script and the story base line around it and everything. How did it feel when you had worked and the opportunity to have Stan Lee be attached to your writing and everything?
Totally surreal. To write the word Excelsior in a script and then have him say those words, like, I mean, he had more speaking part than that, but to hear my words come out of his mouth was awesome. I mean, that was beyond cool. And the fact that he was just so great about it, and rest in peace. I mean, the man was just, he was really eager to work with us. He really flew with that script. I mean, he just did such a great job, so natural. So, you know, it was like a confidence builder for me, but it also made me realize it's like, wow, there's no limit to what we can achieve here. When you have somebody that's on board who's passionate about this kind of thing, particularly when it comes to, you know, these fan films, when you realize these are passion projects. We're not getting paid big bucks to do this stuff. We're not getting paid any bucks to do this stuff. but the payoff is when your creation comes to life. You see it on paper, you imagine it, and then when it's on the screen and you hear those words, I mean, it's really genuinely surreal. And it was a really great honor, particularly just working with Stan on that. It was really, really cool.
One of the earlier projects you and I worked on that's now on Amazon and all, you helped write, was Suicide Squad thing we did a couple of years back. Can you tell us what your experience was on that?
Yeah, it was super fun. So like before Suicide Squad came out in theaters, we had the idea to get a couple cosplayers involved in doing various characters and setting up sort of like a real quick, I don't even know that it's even like 3 or 4 minutes long, but it was a quick, almost like a SNL sketch, if you will. But like, it was similar to the opening scene of the movie Snatch, the Guy Ritchie movie, where the characters are introduced. And we did this whole thing that made it look like that with the Suicide Squad characters. And I mean, there's almost like no dialogue. I don't think there's any dialogue. I think it's just shots, you know, that we used. And man, it came out super well. It really came out pretty cool. So we may have to share that out again, because that deserves a bump. That was a lot of fun. So
do you have any advice that you want to give future writers, writers that are watching this, that are inspired from your words? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, just number one thing is just don't be afraid. Just write something. It's as with anything in life, I think. Just don't be afraid of it. If you don't think you're good enough, who cares? Just write. You'll get better. I don't profess to be a good writer or let alone a great writer. But it comes with practice and over time. And I think maybe I'm doing something right. But I think you always have to look at it as a growth thing. So anybody who's out there right now who's thinking, you know, I have a great idea for, you know, a Star Wars fan series or a novel or graphic novel or something, an audio book of some, you know, but I just don't know if I could write it. I don't know if I'm good enough. Well, just put all that aside. Do it. Just do it. It's never, and let me tell you something else too. You're always better than you think you are. You're always going to be your own worst critic, no matter what. If you have a good editor with you, if you have good partners, we're lucky enough to have Brian Terranova as co-writer on this, and just a great talent. The guy can write like crazy. Very creative guy. Find people that are around you that you can work with and play off of. I mean, they'll help you to grow as a writer, but just by all means, just write. Write anything. Maybe every day, just put aside some time and do something small. But don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid of criticism. But grow with it and just keep trying it. That's really the big thing, is if you want to write, just write. Easy enough. Pen and paper, whatever. You know, do your thing.
So where can people check you out at? I wasn't going to say, but where can people check you out at? Where can they follow your work and everything else that you do?
Yeah, so on Facebook, through Together Brothers Productions, we have that page. It's very active right now. There's a lot of Planetary Step stuff on there right now. Yeah, where you can find me. So Pass the Controller's the other thing. So I don't know if you noticed, I'm a big video game guy. So yeah, we do our thing, man. You and I and Mark McKnuckles Carter over there, McNucks. We do our monthly video game show. We have a website for that. That's on Facebook, Pass Controller, P2C Nation, blah, blah, blah. You can find us. Google's your friend, right? So yeah, we're out there. You can find us pretty much anywhere. And hopefully you'll be seeing me, a lot more of me, now that I'm helping you to write this show for you.
Brian, I want to thank you for showing up on the show and giving your insight of what it is like for you to write, and then also the process. And I want to thank all of you out there for joining us tonight. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, hit like, tell your friends, tell your family. And I want to thank everyone out there in the Orville community that's shown their love and support, and the sci-fi community that's shown their love and support. And again, tune in next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for a new episode of Planetary Diary. And like I always end my show, make every step you take a planetary one. We'll see you next week.